Good evening, everyone. Appreciate you on this beautiful Sunday, March 30th, right? 2025. Welcome to my show, Straight from the Source with David Mitchell. I have a phenomenal guest tonight, a young man that hails from my town. Absolutely. He hails from Dayton, Ohio, right? Local kid, local product, playing basketball for the University of Dayton Flyers. He was a junior, okay? So that means he has 1 year of eligibility left. We're going to discuss that this upcoming season, the season that just passed. We missed out on the NCAA tournament, but how are we going to do with this upcoming 25-26 season? Flyer faithful, what are we going to do? And we hope that my next guest will be able to give us some type of inside view, inside look at what to expect from the University of Dayton Flyers. Absolutely. So without further ado, we're going to bring him out and talk to him as we introduce him the rest of the way on the show, okay? He is a 6'10" small forward, right? Originally that hailed from Kettering Archbishop Beloy High School, Kettering, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, right? Played primarily guard, believe it or not, in high school. Okay? Signed with Marshall University out of high school, played there 2 seasons, okay? And then got his dream answered. He always wanted to be a Flyer originally. That's right. Welcome to the show, y'all. Jacob Connor. Big nephew.
How you doing?
Doing wonderful. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here.
Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to do this. We're going to keep pushing it out here in ATN country until we cannot push it anymore. That's exactly what we're going to do. Now, listen, I want to finish introducing you a little bit. Did you grow up in Kettering? Is that correct?
I grew up in Beaver Creek.
Okay, in Beaver Creek?
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about what was it like growing up in Beaver Creek for you? What was it like ending up at Alter High School? And I believe that you, let me see, I want to make sure I get all my notes here right, Jacob. You played for Coach Eric Kortler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what that was about growing up in Beaver Creek and how you ended up out at Alter, because everybody don't get to go to Alter.
Yeah. So like you said, grew up in Beaver Creek. My dad was military, so we were kind of up near the base. He was working out in Springfield, and my mom was teaching. So grew up there. I spent 13 years of my life in Beaver Creek. Spent a long time there. Played soccer, played basketball for Beaver Creek. Went to Beaver Creek schools for a little bit growing up. And then I got to 4th grade, and honestly, it was mainly a faith decision. I started going to St. Charles, which is in the same parking lot as Alter, and became Catholic, got baptized and all that, and really kind of took those steps for myself. And that really just led me to kind of, by the end of 8th grade, everybody that I was going to school with was going to Alter. Everybody I knew was going to Alter. So that ended up being the decision for me, just kind of wanting to stick around the people that I had been with for the last couple of years. And then my time with Coach Coulter was super special. He and I still have a great relationship, and obviously my brother played for him too. So, that relationship with him and my family is really good, and we had a great time together.
Absolutely. So you end up getting there, and once you're there, you understand right away this is something special that you being a part of, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Alter Knights family. Okay. Tell me what it was like walking in there, seeing the state championship trophies on the wall,
Yeah.
Joe Petrocelli, like a living legend at Alter, you know?
Yeah.
What was the nostalgia like there, and what was expected from you right away?
So it gets described with people I talk to about it. It gets described as like the Alter mystique. So it's obviously I didn't grow up watching Alter basketball games. It wasn't something I really watched until probably 7th or 8th grade when I went to my first game. So, my freshman year, I was in it, but I was also learning about it. I mean, you walk in, you see the Petrocelli name on the door or above the doors, and you walk in and you got all these gold banners in the gym with all these years on it. And you're like, you just want to learn more. You want to know more. And Coach Coulter was great about that. He's huge on tradition and the program, and he's a great storyteller. So, I mean, just understanding that there's a certain level and expectation, not only on the court but also in the classroom there. I mean, that's one of the biggest things about it is like they want you to be a well-rounded person, not just a great athlete. So the expectations on and off the court are something that are spoke about a lot, and something that you kind of learn to understand and realize that they have a high standard for a reason.
Absolutely. They want you to get those A's and A+++s at Alter.
Definitely.
And that's just, we're going to call it exactly what it is. And that what makes it so a mystique, is that people are there that learn and not just play basketball, football, cheer, baseball, run track, wrestle, and other sports, And that's why we always looked at Alter, and we still do. And we hold you athletes that come out of Alter to such, I guess, a high standard, right? Now, once you got on the court, I guess Coach found that the best way for you to be effective was to be this big, tall, lanky kid with not a lot of weight on him at the time, but you was able to find ways to make other players better. What was it was that it? Did he see that in you? You always knew you had it in you?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up on teams with kids taller than me, which, helped me a lot and really forced me to be like a really well-rounded player and be somebody that was able to, go down low, but also somebody that could play on the perimeter, because that was the only way I was going to get on the court. So, I mean, my freshman year, we had, I think, 6 or 7 seniors, and there were, I think, 5 juniors or something like that. And so we had kind of talked, and there really wasn't going to be a way for me to get out on the floor as a freshman. So I played JV. I got to play in kind of a different role that I hadn't played before. And Coach Coulter, he was able to see that and kind of understand. And he had a great plan for me. And he kind of talked to me about it in the off season about using me as a point guard and using me to help distribute, to the other really good players we had on the team. I mean, we had a really good group of seniors that were going to be coming back, and Brady Ewell, Connor Stolley, Jack Smith, and Rich Kolb. And so having that group, I understood that my role and the way I was going to be on the court was going to be by, getting them the ball and really kind of helping us run offense and make sure that everything was going to go smoothly on that end for them. So it was partially kind of me and my skill set, but then at the same time, it was Coach Coulter having that vision for us and for our success.
Yeah. So, I mean, what a vision, and partly for yourself. I mean, listen, let me tell you something. It worked out just phenomenal for you at Alter, because, you guys, not only you won basketball games, but you played at a high level, which led to an athletic scholarship. And so when we get to a point, and you was over there playing too, by the way, with your UD roommate now, Brady Ewell, and that had to be a fun experience, along with playing with the other guys. But the way you ended up with Brady at Dayton, I thought that was kind of neat for you in your career. But you end up choosing Marshall. Why did you choose Marshall?
I loved the style of basketball that they played. Coach Dan D'Antoni was the head coach there. Obviously, his brother is the NBA Coach of the Year, Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah.
And he had been on staff with him in LA and in Phoenix and in New York. Coach guys like Kobe and Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, Shaq, like all those guys. And seeing kind of how he was planning on using me in his system and just overall his system of basketball and kind of what he thought about the game, I felt like lined up a lot with what I thought. And, you know, on that visit that I had, I felt really comfortable being there, and I really enjoyed being around like the guys on the team and that staff. So that ultimately was what I thought was the best decision for me.
Yeah, and I think it was a good choice, and you played phenomenal over there. I think you did a lot of sacrifice for the team. You know, you went in there, you primarily handled the ball as a 6'10" point guard, and you facilitated a lot. You passed up a lot of shots. But I think that the shots that you took, I looked at your form and I said, wow, his form is phenomenal. You know, it's there. You know, I looked at your passing ability and I was like, wow, you know, he can really see the floor. It ain't just his height. I mean, you got good vision. You know what I'm saying? Everybody always like to think that everybody tough. That's the case. All these tall guys we be talking about can pass. No. It ain't just height, okay? Listen to your uncle. I'm telling you, you got good vision. So, you know, you utilize that aspect of your game. You get to Dayton, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get to Dayton, and you use now more so as a small forward.
Mm-hmm.
So with that transition, can you speak a little bit about the transition to Dayton as a small forward and your adjustment? And because to me, I think that you had a lot of guards around you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Already this year, we was full of guards with Javon Bennett, Malachi Smith, as well as the ability for Enoch Cheeks to put that basketball on the floor, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you wasn't needed as much to handle it, but you did. I'm excited first, and we ain't gotten to the portal and transfer and recruiting news yet, but that if God willing that you do return a flyer to us, that you being able to put that ball on. I would love to see you be able to put that ball on the floor a little bit more and just be more fluid and do it the way that I know that you capable of doing.
Yeah, that the transition for me was tough. I know kind of making a jump in level of play overall. So I mean, that was the biggest thing, was right away wanting to work on my body physically, and then, you know, the skill aspect of that. But you know, kind of having talks with the coaching staff, my role was going to be more of an off the ball guy this year and more of a 3-and-D kind of guy, which, I mean, at the end of the day, if whatever the staff needs me to do, I'm going to go out there and do it to the best of my ability, and that's all you can ask for. So the transition was, I thought it was going pretty well. I felt like throughout the preseason and early practices, I felt like I was doing really well. I was learning a lot, and really kind of right at the beginning of the year, felt like I was, you know, starting to get comfortable, and felt like I was, you know, kind of feeling like myself, felt like I was getting into a groove. And then, you know, kind of like we talked about earlier, had that injury early in the season, and that it shut a lot of things down. I was out for about a month, maybe month and a half. And, you know, it really just kind of, I don't want to say derailed my season, because I don't feel like that happened, but it took some time getting back and getting used to it. And, you know, obviously when you're healing from an injury in the season, it's never going to be 100%. So I think hopefully I'm able to use this summer to get my body back to where I want it to be, and kind of build on the momentum I felt like I had for myself at the end of the year.
Absolutely. And, you know, I love that answer, because it leads us right into the next question, just like, or the next statement that we talked about off camera. Again, that injury. And, you know, I believe it was your ankle, correct?
Yeah.
When you have an ankle injury, listen, people, when you have an ankle injury, you know, it's 2 or 3 types. You know, you got low ankle sprains, right? And then you have high ankle sprains, right? And then you could just, your whole ankle messed up, okay? It could just be, just from top to bottom. And every person is different and how they deal with pain. Every person is different in how inflammation enters their body and how their blood circulates and how they're able to take pain and play through pain and or heal through pain. I know that from dealing with the minerals, and my wife, which you'll meet Dr. Linda Mitchell. She's a certified holistic health coach, and she's an herbalist, and she knows everything about the body, and I'm honorary through her.
Yeah.
But you look like, to me, you bounce back just fine, and I would not ever look at it as a like you say, something that was just critical to your career or anything like that. None whatsoever, or your season, because you still came back and you had your moments, right? That's why I dropped that last post. I wanted them to see it. It wasn't the NCAA tournament, but it was the National Invitation Tournament, right? Playing at Florida Atlantic. You went in there with that monster slam. I mean, that's Jacob Conn.
Yeah.
You put one move down and said, I'm gone. That was what you was doing at Marshall, right?
That's how I feel like I can be. And I mean, like you said, when I heard it, I had never had an ankle sprain like that bad. You roll your ankle, you're out a day or two, whatever. When I rolled it, the initial diagnosis was I was going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, roughly. He was saying I would be lucky to be back by the end of December, maybe early January. And he's like, I had never had an ankle bruise up, swell up like that before. It was all kinds of purple and blue and green, and it was crazy. But our training staff's great, and they were able to kind of help me get out there, and I made a lot of progress really quick, and I was able to come back, I think, in maybe 4 or 5 weeks. So I came back way ahead of schedule. But I mean, like you said, everybody heals from that kind of stuff differently, and I think probably by the end of the year, probably by mid-February, I felt about as good as I could with my ankle, and started to feel like I was kind of getting back to myself physically in that regard.
Absolutely. That's why I tell people, if you haven't played sports, or maybe you have, or you maybe even just twist your ankle, it's different because it's levels to everything, and especially with those ankle injuries. But look, now that that's over with, tell us a little bit about what you're doing in the off season now, right? To improve on your game, to work on your game. I got some stats here, right? At Marshall, you shot around, I'm going to say on the average for 2 seasons, about 33% from 3. At Dayton, I believe it was somewhere around 29.5.
Yeah.
Anybody shooting 30-something%. I shot 42.5%. One of my last years playing ball, 87, was the first year of the 3-point line. So I was considered sort of phenomenal, shooting 42.5 for the first year of a 3, right?
Yeah.
You have the ability, Jacob, to shoot over 40%.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just because I like you, my big nephew. No, I'm a pretty good evaluator of talent myself. And I know, and I've talked to some other coaches and people and things, and they believe you can too. Tell us about it. Do you have a personal trainer? Are you working out with anyone in particular? Any of the former NBA players you want to pick their thumbs, or Obi Toppins, you want to get with those guys of the world and work out with them or anything?
Yeah. So kind of just to start, like, I know I can shoot 40% too. And I think part of shooting is physical, part of it's confidence. And
Mm-hmm.
I know at the beginning of the year before I got hurt, I was shooting 40% right about. So like I know I can do it in a game. I know I can do that.
Yeah.
As far as for the off season right now, off the court, I'm taking a little bit of time off. Like I'm taking kind of this past week off, and then I'm going to get back into it, really kind of going hard again this week.
Mm-hmm.
But the off court stuff, really working on my diet and making sure I'm eating the right way, making sure I'm fueling my body so that I'm able to make changes in the weight room. I mean, what you do in the weight room is probably 30% of how you change yourself. The other 70 is what you eat.
Right.
So kind of making those changes and staying consistent there, working on, cooking for myself, things like that. And then in the gym, I mean, going in, getting shots up, getting shots at game speed, having managers come in and contest shots for me so that I'm not just shooting wide open threes and wide open shots all day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get in and play one-on-one with any of the college guys that come back to the city, guys that I know. I work out at a place down in Springboro from time to time with my trainer that I've had for a while, Bob Crawford. He's phenomenal, one of the best in the business, if not.
Shout out Bob Crawford.
Shout out Bob Crawford. And then Chris Wright is one of the guys, former Dayton Flyer, who he's got the Flight Foundation and all that stuff that he does. So he and I played for his AAU team a couple years back. So he and I have a pretty good relationship. So I kind of want to talk to him, pick his brain, and see if I can work out with him if he's still down to do that. And then
Chris Wright.
Yeah, Chris
All right,
Wright.
Jacob. Young Chris, big nephew Chris. I've given Chris an invitation to come on the show, several flyers, and like I said, many have been on the show, and some, you know how it is, for whatever reasons, haven't been able to make it. But Big Chris, I still got an invite for you to come out. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned Chris Wright. I will even send him a message myself. Man, listen, would you please work out with big nephew Jacob and get him right, okay? Get him right, because Chris, with his career, he can always lay down some of that good old school, right? Information that will be helpful for today's game.
He was huge too, like off the court. Like he helped me a lot. Like as a team, he helped us go through like media training and like financial literacy stuff. And he would come in and give us talks about and just be real with us. Like, we've got a team of 10. He's like, we'll be lucky if 3 of you go play college basketball. Like coming in and giving us like that reality and telling us, it's not just about you can go out there and hoop and you can go score 25. Like there's a lot to it. And his mom would come in and talk to us, and like just the information, and that dude is one of the, like, at his heart is one of the best people I've met. And so like I love him as a person, but then on the court too, like I want to learn from him. I want to learn, kind of why he did things the way he did them, footwork stuff. Another local guy, Caleb McCollum. I believe he's still playing in the G League, and he comes back into town. He works out at the same place as me. Like I want to talk to those guys and see what they're doing. So, it's going to be a lot about me trying to learn the summer and apply it to myself and apply it to my game. But that's kind of the biggest thing this summer for me, is just learning as much as I can and trying to apply it.
Hey, listen, shout out to Chris Wright, former UD Flyer great and former NBA player, overseas basketball player. Shout out for what he's doing in Trotwood, Ohio with the Flight Academy and all of those type of things, and giving back to the UD Flyers, as you can see. Hey, I might as well throw it out here now. We're thinking about this crazy how stuff come up, Jacob. On July after the 4th of July, I want to say around the 6th. I hate to give out the wrong numbers, but anyway, July weekend, 4th of July weekend, around the 6th. I think the 6th might be a Sunday, right? It's going to be a basketball camp out at his former high school, at Trotwood High School Rams, right? And me and you will talk some more off camera. If you're available, I might give you a call to maybe come out there and make a little quick appearance or something. And, we'll be talking sea moss and cold pressed juices and nutrition and all of that, how you speak. And, by that time you'll be then, what we talked about earlier. And Chris, wait till I call my cousin, Robin Javette Mobley, who's going to be over the event. It's going to be for the Breast Cancer Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a wonderful charity for us to participate in, right? We all know someone's been affected by breast cancer or cancer in general. Mm-hmm. And that's this summer. So if you're around, just hey, we'll be talking about that. And that's something I got to shout out to Chris about now. I talk back to Robin about to see, because we would love to see the legend come back out to Trotwood. All right. Now, just moving on. So now you guys hear what he's doing in the off season. You see how he speaks about trainers and contacting back the UD legends and things like that. I also had Deron Holmes II on my show as well. Had him on here with his mom, Tamika, and his father, Big Deron. We had a phenomenal time and show. And just like you with that ankle injury, he went through that bad injury and didn't get to play for the Nuggets this year. We're looking to get him back on the podcast before he finishes playing. Before he gets back to playing this next season, because he's a phenomenal kid. He's somebody that you should be trying to reach out to as well. You a flyer, you a flyer. You know what I'm saying? It don't make a difference if y'all played together in the same season or not. He's the type of young man that would love to give you a few of them moves. I guarantee you, he would not hold back. Trust me on that. Now, Jacob, let's get right into it, man. Listen, you coming back, returning. Where's my sheet at, Jacob? Apologize, your uncle be looking down, right? I ain't young as you. I got to get my sheet out, right? Jacob, we have, if my numbers are correct, and I was pretty correct with Jablo, shout out David Jablonski, Dayton sports beat writer. Listen, we have 8 new potential players coming in to the Dayton Flyers that they could be out recruiting right now. Coach Grant, shout out to Coach Anthony Grant, former coach of the year, and whom I also met briefly, Coach Henderson took his picture for us together at the George Mason game last year when Dayton got beat dang near at the end of the game against George Mason last season out here, right? But shout out to the coaching staff, Ricardo Greer, Coach King, Coach Kane is out there, Coach Henderson. All of those guys do a phenomenal job with you guys. But we got 8 potential new players, could turn into more. If people don't know and you're listening now for the first time, again, I got Jacob Connor, 6'10" forward from the University of Dayton Flyers, men's basketball on the podcast tonight. We talking transfer portal news and everything else. In recruiting, we know how good Coach Grant has been and Coach Greer and those guys. How do you feel, Jacob, about the big number? Last year, you came in with a class of, I think, a total of 5 newcomers. Now we're talking about a number that went up to 8 or could be bigger. Talk to me about it. What we gonna do, man?
I mean, that's the landscape of college basketball now, it seems. There's whole teams that are gone, so it's tough on coaching staffs right now. But I've seen how they work. I've seen how that staff operates, and I personally know how they recruit. So I know they're going to do a great job. I know they're going to bring in the right kind of people, the right kind of players. So I have full trust in them. I know we've got our 2 freshmen signed right now that'll be coming in. So I know we've got the guys that are coming back plus those 2 freshmen, and I know the staff is doing everything they can make the best team they can at this point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you, like you say, you've been through that recruiting process. It makes me feel good to hear as your uncle that you still got that faith in the staff during these times of change. We respect what anybody do because it's a business now. They make decisions based on different reasons. As I elaborate a little bit more on that, what you spoke about, we have to replace Flyer Faithful to all Atlantic 10 performers, one in Nate Santos, 6'7" senior out of Illinois, Geneva, Illinois. Nate was second team all conference, overcoming an injury like he did, right? I think he even had surgery, if I'm not mistaken, right? Can you speak a little bit about what it was like playing with somebody and trying to replace a player of his status this coming season? And then the next one, just a part two of that, replacing another senior all-conference performer in Enoch Cheeks, transferred from Robert Morris University, and a two-way phenomenal player. Yes. Can you just speak a little bit on how it was playing with those two guys this year and watching how they developed?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Obviously, like you said, all conference level players, really great leaders. In the locker room, they were great voices for us. They were, always calm. They were always there. Kind of things weren't going right. Kind of bringing us back to earth and kind of helping us, stay on the task. And then, when things were going really well and we wanted to kind of start getting away from what got us there, they were there to also bring us back down and get us to where we needed to be. So I can't speak highly enough about their leadership between the two of them and their work ethic. I mean, anytime you walk in the practice gym or anything, you could see one of them, both of them, like they were constantly working and perfecting their craft. So replacing them is going to be tough, but like you said, both of them were transfers, and so that gives me faith in the staff to go out there and find kind of that same thing again. So I know as far as their leadership goes, we lost a lot of older guys, but guys are still around. I'm going to be back as a senior, so I want to kind of pick their brain and learn from them and figure out kind of leadership style, figure out what mine is, and see what works, see what didn't, and kind of go from there.
Absolutely. Wonderful answer. I also wanted to speak a little bit about Zed Key. We're going to lose Zed Key as well. Played very well in his one season at University of Dayton. Shout out to you, Zed. Posh Alexander, going to give a wave goodbye to him in his fifth year basketball. Had a phenomenal 1,000-point plus career. Go miss him with the Flyers. And then we had in the transfer portal, Malachi Smith. It seemed like Malachi been at Dayton forever, but you never want him to leave. You know what I mean? It's like, when I heard the news, I was like, oh my Lord. But we saw the signs when he marched, when he came out actually, for senior day. We saw the signs, but we're gonna miss you, Malachi. And his brother Scoochie. I met Scoochie back in the day, and Coach Archie Miller and all of that. But come from a great background. Wish this kid well. And Coach, Jacob, David Jablonski told me on the show. He said, "Listen, Malachi. He looks for him to go somewhere into the high, power conferences." He said he got calls immediately, and he spoke with his parents, personally about Malachi. Yeah. He's getting some calls from some big schools. So we wish him well. I mean, them legs, after that surgery, they held up, didn't they? Yeah.
He's been through a lot, and he keeps pushing through. So nothing but the best for that guy. I'm hoping he finds, everything he's looking for and better.
Absolutely. We do too. Now, let me see who else I got on the list. Also, we lost, Big Isaac Jack, you
Mm-hmm.
know, went in the transfer portal after transferring in from Buffalo for a couple of seasons. Just want to shout you out. We're gonna always miss you, man. You know, gonna love you in Flyer country. You know how we do forever. But wish him well. We got to replace that as well. And then, you know, the young kid. I met Marvell Allen. I met some of his family behind the scenes and the red carpet when you go back when the Flyers can meet with friends and family.
Yeah.
And I had been invited back by Mrs. Tamika Holmes, Big Duran's mother. I mean, Duran Holmes' mother. And, you know, and so I get back there and, you know, we talking, you know, how you guys come out. And that's because he was injured.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was able to be out first because he didn't have to play. So he was already dressed, right?
Yeah.
But he, you know, he's such a nice kid, and I wish him the best. And you know, he loved to laugh and joke. He got that Florida in him, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, but he's been so many injuries have plagued him, and I was like, Jablo, man, what is it with us with the Flyers? We get guys and they get these injuries. I said, man, what is going on? We ain't going through no curse, are we? We had COVID when we had probably our best team, one of them in the history of Flyer basketball. And we was like 29 or 30 and 1 or 2 and won everything, was number 1 seed and got that season canceled. Man, I'm looking forward to him landing where he needs to be and moving on in his career. That's Marvell Allen. We wish you the best. Mm-hmm. But, oh, I'm not done. We also losing your roommate. We losing Brady Uhl. And Brady, shout out, man. I appreciate your game. You can shoot that ball, right? You can pat that rock and you can assist. He always played with patience and never was, you know, it was like he came out off the could he play it? What? You better give him a scholarship. He earned it. You know what I mean? He came out there and he played and he did his thing. So we want to shout you out, Brady. I remember he came in, shots in certain situations. People was like, and he pulled up, boom, you know, I mean, you know, it's just like, you know, and that is what you're capable of, hitting those big shots. That's going to lead me now. And I think I covered everybody that was leaving. In the returning lineup for the Flyers, right? We got to think about the returning lineup, right? For the Flyers. So when I look at this, we have Jacob Connor, yours truly, on the show, okay? We have Javon Bennett, keeping my fingers crossed, okay? We have, that's point guard, and Javon is a phenomenal point guard. I call him a combo guard. He can play point and the 2. Mm-hmm. 7'1" center, Big Frenchie. I don't want to mess your name up, big nephew, Emil El Atan. I think he has so much potential, even NBA potential. Once he puts some weight on, his 3-point shot is phenomenal. That's what they're looking at in the pros. He runs the court. I told David Jablonski that play from Malachi to him. That should have been the number 1 play on Sports Center, top whatever that day. And what I saw was him in the air with body control. Mm-hmm. You know, like you got the same. You 6'10". It's rare the guys can have that kind of body control in the air and still finish that play to win a basketball game. We're gonna give him a shout out, man, and always to the returning Flyers. Big Frenchie, you know, Unc wants you on the show. Also to Javon Bennett, you know, Unc wants you on the show. Okay. Always we like to spread the love in Flyer land. With that core, we got some youth coming. We got freshmen. Jamon Simon. I'm keeping my fingers, that's all I can do. And we have Hamad. Make sure I got Musa. He was a freshman that played mostly during the early parts of the season and didn't play as much during the latter part of the season. Had a lot of potential. Was talks about NBA potential in his genes. So we're gonna hope that he's still a flyer. And when I add everything up, did my numbers come out right, big nephew?
Yes, okay. They did.
So we got about 8 guys now that we can go out and recruit. Oh, let me speak on the 2 freshmen. Mm-hmm. Damon Furry is from Cleveland St. Ignatius, a freshman, 6'9", top 150 prospect. He chose Dayton, had a lot of, some Power 5 offers and things. And then we're looking for him to contribute, God willing, still. And we also have Jaron McKee, the young son of the legend out of Temple, that McKee and Eddie Jones tandem to play for the late, great John Chaney at Temple. Mm-hmm. We got him over there coming in out of Philadelphia. And both of those players are coming in, and we hoping that they can contribute right away. But that's still only giving us, it looks as though you answered it already, Jacob. We need your upperclassmanship. We need your leadership. We need you to work hard this off season. Do everything you can to improve, because you're now being called upon for Coach Anthony Grant to be a leader. For the Flyer faithful, we looking at you to be a leader, along with Javon Bennett, right? And the young big Frenchie. I think as far as not just you guys' talent, but your leadership, you guys, you 3 right there, are probably the leaders right now. If you all return, right, with the play, with the minutes and everything, then you throw Javon and Jayon in there, right? Mm-hmm. Probably be 4th in minutes, and then obviously Musa would come in last as far as the minutes is concerned, and then the 2 freshmen. So, we got a lot of building to do, but I got faith that we're going to get it done, man, that we're going to get back each year. You guys wear this Dayton on your chest. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Wear that Flyer faithful across your chest. At Dayton, they looked upon as a mid-major, but it's not. You know the reason why it's looked at as a mid-major? We don't have big Power 5 football. We got great football. Coach Kelly started all of that, and it just built on, right? Got great football over there. I mean, but and great women's basketball and all of this, that, and the other, and the whole community supports 14,000 people almost at every single game. That's rare. Top 20 in the country for 30 years. But we in the Atlantic 10. They expect more from us. You come from Alta. You a local product star. Everybody's looking at what is Connor going to do. He came from Alta, And I'm saying that because we look at the Dayton Twitters. We look at the, the social media. You know what these people saying out here. But we keep showing up because we the Flyer faithful, right? But it's getting to a point where people are like, they're even questioning Coach Grant. Can you believe it? I mean, I'm like, man, this guy graduated from University of Dayton. He wants to coach at Dayton. He's doing the best he can. He got hit by the COVID year where he was coach of the year, had the player of the year, national player of the year in Obi Toppin. He had, he's coached Jalen Crutcher on to the pros. Tamani Kamara on to the pros. Deron Holmes, big nephew, on to the pros. He's got these guys in there, but Dayton can't seem to get that, because when people come play us, we always their quad one. You hear me, big nephew? We're their quad one win. We're so it's like I'm at VCU. It's 8,000 people in there. It sound like 14 because it gets loud, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, the best venue in the country in this conference is UD for sure. But people expect, they say, well, why Dayton ain't won the A-10 regular season in this long? Or why we haven't won this and this long? We still lead the A-10, in the all-time victories. I mean, in history, the A-10, we still got the most victories. And we still got a phenomenal NCAA tournament history as well as pro resume. So when you put all that together, Jacob, it's like You're there. You have another season. You 6'10" with every skill from ball handling to passing ability to rebounding to shooting the three. All it takes is one good off season. You guys have a good recruiting off season. We get back, we win. Jablo told me the magic number is 23 or 4. So we got to get 23 or 24, man. We got to do it. It's been our number to get that 23. It gets us in the tournament. So I'm mad at the analytics. Your uncle threw with the quad, won this because I couldn't understand it. I'm going on my rant right now, okay?
Yeah.
All love for Flyer. I can't believe Mason didn't win anywhere near as many quad ones as we had. Neither did VCU. In fact, we were their quad ones, but yet they had those guys rated higher to go to the NCAA tournament. I thought it was about going out and beat big boys, but you know, I'm just gonna stay away from that.
Yeah.
But with you guys, with you coming back, are you ready to lead with that core that I'm speaking about with Javon Bennett and Big Frenchie? To lead Jayon and the rest of the young people, as well as entertain and show the love and help these new recruits that might be coming in and to give them the history of UD basketball.
Definitely. And I think, it's going to be a collective effort. It's not going to be, one guy is the team leader, all that. I think it's going to be a collective effort from all of us. And I know for Javon and Jayon, I mean, they were on the team that was in the tournament, and they were on the team that came back and won a game in the tournament, big game in the tournament. So, I want to be able to learn from them too and figure out, why they were able to make it that year and what went right for them. And so as much as it is the analytics and all the quad one and all that, like you can't have somebody's season decided in November or December. So we got to figure out a way to play our best basketball in January, February, and March. So, I think, knowing what I know now, I think, and Frenchie, he has that year under his belt now too. I think we've got what we need to come out and compete and get back to where we want to be.
Absolutely. That's what I want to hear. I mean, man, you saying all the right things to make your uncle sleep good tonight. I mean, I'm impressed with this interview. I mean, I don't feel because I had so much adrenaline, like I told you off camera. I'm like, man, it's like Dayton fans. I guess for people who aren't from where we're from, they think like out here in this 757, with the Allen Iversons of the world right down the street from me, and the Boo Williams, like I said, been on my show, the chairman over all the AAU basketball, and it goes on and on. Hoping Michael Vick, I'm looking to get Michael Vick on the show here soon over at Norfolk State, doing a phenomenal job starting that program over there. But this region is just known for so many big time people. And I came out here, man, I was telling them about Ohio, man. And growing up there, the pressure it is to continue to win. It used to be, if we won 20 games as a Flyer, oh, man, it was good. Dayton fans was just happy, Jacob, winning 20 games. Now with social media and everybody just, it's so much going on with podcasts and things and so much. People have more. We're in the information age, okay? So people can look up and they feel they know you. Oh, this is Jacob Connor on Instagram, huh? Or this is Jacob Connor on Facebook. Oh, this is Jacob Connor. I want to get to know a day in the life of Jacob Connor, right? So when people get engaged with you, Jacob, it grows you and it grows your brand. People want to see you, right? Because nowadays, people, if you don't show them no engagement a little bit, sometimes people don't even want to see you,
Yeah.
That's how they can be so fickle these days. But you got something. I want you to know you got something. You got to continue to use it and just get out here. I'm looking forward to you playing so loose this next season, shooting that beautiful three-point shots you got from all over the court, putting that ball on the floor, taking it inside and dunking on them boys at 6'10", putting a little bit more weight on, and then that passing ability. You know what I mean? But also keep team first and foremost. But I think you already know what you, like I said, you know what you're going to do. You know what you need to do to work on your game. And that's going to be the blessing that we're going to be able to see. It was a gentleman on social media today. He told me with you, he said that the best was yet to come. I said, yes, you absolutely right. When you think of Jacob Connor, the best is still yet to come. All right, now moving on along here in the interview as we get closer to winding down. Let's see some things I had on here I wanted to discuss with you. There's a kid that played in the tournament at UD Arena from Wayne High School. I can't think of the kid's name right now. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Jacob, Unc. I already told Jablo, call Coach Grant. We got a great relationship with the coaches over there at Wayne High School. I think he might be a nice fit.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I know.
out there.
I saw he played well in the first 4 game, and obviously he had a pretty good game against us at the beginning of the year too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's something we'll look at. Y'all heard it here straight from the source. If it come through, yeah, that's one we always keep an eye on there, right? Also, I always want to give a shout out. I'm on the show to the voice of the Flyers, Larry Hagsden. I had to get Larry on the show soon. I told him I'm gonna get his book. Doug Housechild, my guy, courtesy of the Dayton Flyers, and gave me a lot of access. Like to give him a shout out. David Jablonski, Dayton University, Dayton sports beat writer. Jacob, let's have some fun. Always want to have some fun. All right. Favorite food?
Ooh, might be tacos.
Tacos. All right. All right. Nothing like a nice taco. Nothing like a nice taco. All right. Have you ever, and it's okay because you grown, you old enough, you can say it. Because I'm going to take you back to the 80s, right?
Okay.
When I was in school and stuff, right? There's a section in Dayton, y'all, called The Ghetto. Talking about the ghetto, the ghetto. Listen, they had some phenomenal parties down in that section of apartments down there at the ghetto. Have you ever attended a Dayton Flyers party at the ghetto?
Yeah, I was at St. Patrick's Day. Yeah.
All right. Hey, y'all heard it right here on Straight from the Source. It still goes down at Flyers Faithful down in the ghetto. That's right. Brown Street, y'all. It's going down. Woo, man. There's so many memories we got. Do you remember? It was something years and years ago. I don't even know if you remember this, though. You might not use it. They used to have like a Midnight Madness.
Okay. I feel like I remember them doing that, and then I feel like just recently that stopped.
Yeah, they had this Midnight Madness thing. So I was out at UD Arena one year, right? Mm-hmm. And a former player by the name of Ray Springer, who used to be my barber, former Dayton Flyer legend, right? Ray Springer. And he took me over there, and I met a former Flyer from Detroit, Nigel Knight, who ended up playing in the NBA, right? Mm-hmm. I met him, and also I'd already knew, but his roommate was Anthony Corbett, another great UD Flyer. And I was getting my hair cut, but I got invited out to play against Norm Greavy and them boys and all them back in the day. And it was at midnight. And cameras used to come into UD, listen to this, coming up and playing at midnight, right? And the cameras come in there and it'd be the news and stuff, and they had you on the news. And so I was like the only guy out there wasn't on the Flyers roster out there shooting jumpers in their face. I had fun, man. It was fun. but I just wanted to throw that out there. What is it like playing for Coach Anthony Grant? What is it like? You hear so many stories about him being like a father figure. What was it? What is it like? And how did his being the coach at Dayton have an impact on you choosing UD?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I felt like I was able to have a lot of very real personal level talks with him when I was on my visit. I was able to sit down in his office and talk to him for about an hour and a half when I first got on campus, and really just be able to speak to him about, you know, what I want personally out of basketball, what I want in life, what I want to do, and, you know, be able to connect on a pretty deep level with him pretty early on. So obviously that played a big role in, I felt comfortable being around him and the rest of the staff. But obviously he's such a great coach. He's learned from a lot of really great coaches. He's been around a lot of really great coaches and players, and his development programs have been phenomenal. So those things all, you know, are why I wanted to be a part of Dayton in the first place. And then, you know, being around him and, you know, seeing how he is, you know, he treats all of us on the team like we're his own kids. So, you know, being around that is something special for sure.
Wow. Good to hear that. And, you know, I still got my goal of getting Coach on the show one day. I heard that he's very private. You know, I know, like I said, I met him briefly, but I'm still going to be working on that. Now, on the team, as far as your teammates, you know, we know on every team you got the jokesters, the comedians. Who's the comedian jokester on the team? And who is the person that just eat the most? Just everything like, man, why don't you stop eating, man? Daggone it, can you stop? I mean, that's my food. You didn't have yours already. Who the comedian, the guy? It's always one man on every team that want to eat up everything, and he's the comedian. Who the comedian, the guy want to eat up everything?
We got like 5 of those. I can't lie. Nah, I mean, some of the funniest guys. Posh was hilarious. Posh is hilarious. Jayon's really funny. Marvell's really funny.
Oh yeah, I know Marvell's funny.
Jayon might be, if you're talking like comedian and eats the most, it's probably Jayon.
Okay, Jayon. All right, Jayon, you got an invite for the show, Mr. Comedian. Definitely love, man, because I got a sense of humor. I love to laugh.
We got some funny dudes on the team for sure.
Now, who's the guy eating up everything?
Hamad eats a lot, but he need, like, it's a good thing for him. So I can't even say anything.
He trying to put that weight on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's good food. It's not like he's binging out having a bunch of bad food. I know Brady puts away some food too.
Okay.
He can put some food away.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Give you guys a little insight on some of what the Flyers be doing out there, right? Now, we're going to talk about, I know, because I've been, you know, I follow you, right? But a lot of people don't. I know you like NBA 2K. And I know I hope y'all be having some battles and things, right? Tell me who plays that with you. And tell me a little bit briefly. I know about you always want to give a shout out to your family, your dad, your girlfriend. And speak about, I think you even got a brother that plays sports.
Yeah. So as far as the 2K stuff, like Javon plays, Marvell, Jayon, Hamad gets on. Like we play that. Guys play Madden. When the college football game came out, everybody was playing that. So I gotta, you know, in the off season, in my free time, I gotta get on there and really start working so I can beat everybody. I gotta beat all the new guys, kind of.
Okay.
You know, establish myself a little bit. But as far as my family, yeah, my mom, my dad. I got 2 younger brothers. One of them senior at Alter. The other one's a 6th grader. The senior one, he plays basketball. He's he's looking to play in college. I don't know if you saw, he just recently decommitted from Wright State. So he's he's struggling a little bit. I don't even want to say struggling. It's tough out here trying to get recruited as a high school senior during the transfer portal.
Yes.
So a lot going on with him there. And then my other brother he does not like basketball. He's been dragged around to so many games. Like, he enjoys coming to games, but he's not going to play it. So he's a big volleyball guy. He enjoys doing that. Actually, I went to his game today, so he's having fun doing that. And then, my girlfriend spent a lot of time with her. She goes to a different school, but we met in high school. We've been dating for 4 years now, so long time with her. So it's been really good.
Yeah, give her a shout out.
I will. Kendall Lieberman, University of Kentucky, Delta Zeta. She's doing her thing.
Now, when I hear that name Lieberman, is she a part of that basketball Lieberman family?
No, it's a baseball.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure, because I know I was a big, Nancy Lieberman when she was playing basketball. I was like, oh, okay.
No, I always joke with her about that, but no relation there.
Hey, okay. So if you was gonna pick, well, you can't really do that in golf, can you? Because it's more mentally, you playing like against yourself, right?
Yeah.
So is there anybody to say that, I guess, on the team they're a better golfer than you?
Oh, probably. I just started. Like, I say just started. I started playing 2 summers ago. I picked it up. I went and golfed with Brady at his club. He plays at Moraine, so I went and played out there with him. Really tough course, way harder than anything I need to be playing. But he's a good golfer. Other than that, I don't know how many other guys on the team golf. So I need to try to get some guys out there this summer. Just play a couple rounds.
Yeah, because golf, that's going to be something that's always going to keep you up here, on the mental. It's going to keep you on the mental. So I'm an advocate for that. Also, now, when I look at this here, your favorite NBA team, Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Favorite NBA player, LeBron James.
Yep.
I don't think that's too far-fetched. When I was growing up, when you look at it, I remember back when LeBron was I think he was in the 7th or 8th grade, I think was the first time I heard about him, right? I was like, this guy, this guy, phenomenal, and for me, the LeBron that everybody talking about now, growing up in Dayton, for me, that LeBron was Dwight Anderson, right? Dwight Anderson was the first player that came out of Dayton, Ohio, that was recruited by the University of Kentucky. We had never had a player recruited to Kentucky at the time, right? And he came out in 1978. In 1978 was the first year, Jacob, of the history of the McDonald's All-American team.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Associated Press, and now it's the ESPN, coaches poll. Back then it was the AP and the UPI, United Press International.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who the AP player of the year was nationally? Dwight Anderson, Dayton, Ohio, right? And he played at Rolfe High School, again, one of those schools like mine that was closed down in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
But he was the LeBron. In fact, he was 6'3", but could jump out the gym, went to Kentucky and USC, played in the NBA for a few seasons. And his career was derailed by drugs, but he later had a redemption story. Life was incredible, helped a lot of people, and he may rest in peace now. But he was like our LeBron coming up, right? Mm-hmm. He was like our Jordan coming up, because his game resembled Jordan a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is in his umpteenth year now, still dominating the NBA. Have you ever seen him play live?
Yeah, one time I got to go to a Cavs game for my I'm trying to think for my 12th birthday,
Mm-hmm.
11th birthday, something like that. I went and watched him play his first year back in Cleveland after he left Miami, and just I've never seen a guy like that big move that way.
Right.
I mean, it's because I mean he was playing and Kyrie was playing, and
uh,
it was crazy. It was a very cool experience.
wow.
But
Listen, man, I got a few things and a few shout outs, and I'm gonna let you go, man. It's been fun, man, talking with you, big nephew. I'm going to talk a little bit now about name, image, and likeness. And I know you're doing something. Can you speak a little bit about what you're doing with that, and speak a little bit about your merchandise? And if I will go back in and I will make sure that I put that in the notes in my post after this interview
mhm.
about exactly what you're doing. If you got any shirts that you want to speak about, or anything that you're doing for the University of Dayton, or in your own personal NIL space that you want to speak about.
Yeah. I mean, first off, Dayton 6 helps us out a lot. And, we are able to help get out in the community, and the
Mm-hmm.
community is able to kind of help us out back. And so I think it's a really good give and take. But for me, it means a lot, being from the area, I can get back out and help people out that are, grew up the same as me or grew up in the same area as me. And it means a lot for me to be able to get out and help out, whether that's with Care Source or
Yes.
whoever. So that's always a great feeling. And then I have the Dayton NIL store. I've got my own kind of closet or locker room, you can say, but I've got a couple like personalized things that I helped design. They have a couple of
Mm-hmm.
like the generic designs, but then there's
Okay, go ahead. Help design. Go
yeah,
ahead.
there's a couple shirts. Like there's the one with the headband on it that I was kind of like, I wear a headband. It's something that's been a part of like me and my brand, like on the court for a while. I want to do something with that. And they were able to come up with a couple of different designs to show me. And, they've been great with me. So I've got that and a couple others with pictures from my visit. So those are pretty cool. And any purchases help me out with that. And then on my own, eventually I want to get to a point where I'm running like a summer camp.
Okay.
Whether that's just me or me and my brothers, but I want to do something like that where I can get back out and kind of do my own thing to help out with the basketball kids in the community.
That took me to, you just took it off we just vibing, big nephew, because that was going to be one of my ending questions. I was like, would you, be interested in maybe perhaps running some camps and things? And you took that one already away from me, which I love when it goes and it flows like that. I think you'd be great in that space. Anything. And then obviously, I was going to ask you if you thought about maybe even perhaps coaching.
Yeah, that's actually, I mean, that's kind of one of the big things I want to do. When I'm done at Dayton, I want to play professionally. I feel like basketball has given me a lot, and I feel like I have a lot to give back to the game. So whenever I'm done playing, I want to get into coaching. I don't know whether that's at the high school level, college level. I don't know where that's at yet, but I'd love to get back into it and kind of stay around basketball as far as possible.
All right. Now, as I'm making my notes here, excuse me. I got summer camp, which was in my questions. Check, yes. Coaching, check, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A part of my shows, I've always had a segment where we talk about sports and business. As you know, sports has always been a business, but now we're in the pay for play stages of that particular business, and it's legal now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Players have always gotten paid, Jacob, but it was in different forms, and it wasn't this kind of bags either, though. It wasn't
Yeah.
this kind of money. But now that you guys are able to get paid, we're happy for that, and I'm all in support of that and the NILs. I always like to say when you Flyers come on my show, I spoke with Deron Holmes, like I told you. He was on my show, I think was my last current Flyer player playing in these days and time. I had some older Flyer team, former players on the team, but I speak about the kids that's in the NIL era that's been on my show. And you're one of the recent players. I'm going to always, as your uncle, give you that good love advice, that good uncle advice, and ask the question. But you've already answered it for our fans. What are you going to do once the basketball stops bouncing? My podcast can't just be about sports. It's about sports and business, because it is a business. You pursue that NBA career, you pursue that overseas career, wherever it may be. But when that ball starts bouncing, I think that's a benefit of the NIL experience, because it gives you a business sense. You start thinking, like, oh, this is what I can do for some bread. Oh, they want me to go do an ad. Okay, I can do some ads, or they want me to do a commercial. They want me to do this. They want me to go speak. They want me to shoot a photo. They want me to sign something. It teaches you about business, because when I got to college, I always tell people, one thing about going to college that's good and beneficial, you're going to meet people from all walks of life. Now you may have grew up in Beaver Creek. Now you got to interact with all kinds of people from everywhere. Yep. I may have grew up over here. Now I got to interact, and then you travel, and then and it builds a camaraderie. And then now with NIL, you getting some money. You feeling good, but now it's business. It's expectations too to go with that money, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man, we're going to continue to always stay in contact and continue to do the things that we can do, reach out to each one and help one. I always tell people in going about the minerals, all the athletes. I talked with Bo Williams, chairman of all AAU, about it. I want to have Coach Lamont Strathers from the 757 coming on the show, a former NBA player, been on the podcast, played for the Portland Trailblazers. I told you, his two sons played for East Tennessee State and Hampton University here locally. And man, listen, man, it's all about kids having their nutrition. It's all about these young kids eating the right way. It's not, if you're going to live in America, Jacob, we have the worst calendar diet in all of the world. Remember that I told you that. We have 40 banned chemicals. We have more substances, more dyes. We have more preservatives in our food that we eat than any other country there is. And guess what? I see it everywhere I travel. All the schools, guess what they get them after the games? We having pizza. We having this. We having that. Well, that's fine, because if you live in America, listen to me, big nephew, you eat this food, you're going to have to detox this food, okay? Yep. You should get that food detoxed out your body. And a good way to detox it is through sea moss, the 92 minerals for your body. And me and you've been talking about that. We'll continue to discuss that even more. It helps athletes, not just athletes, anyone with inflammation and pain in the body, and spirulinas for focus and things like that. Going into next season, you're going to have an advantage. And we're going to continue to discuss. In closing, lastly here, wanted to give a shout out again to Coach Eric Cortland for coaching you and bringing you up at Alton High School. He was a big part of your journey along the way. I wanted to shout out, who did I miss? I've already shout out several people, but I wanted to see, was there anybody on my list that I missed before I go right here? Oh, I wanted to shout out, I didn't shout out, I think, Roosevelt Chapman. I wanted to get Chap a shout out. He's been on my show. Coach Wade O'Connor. You know Coach Wade?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, man, Coach Wade came down here. He was on the show. He's been on the show a couple of times. And Colin's been on the show, his son, right? Mm-hmm. And Colin's doing fine. He was one of the freshmen that I'm proud of that looked at a school, found a good fit for him, and was able to play as a freshman. And just like your little brother going through some issues, Coach Wade will tell you. I've been speaking on this podcast for years, Jacob, about the devastation that's going on to the freshman athlete, the senior athlete, the freshman entering college now. It's not the same because of the way things are set up with the transfer portal. Kids are going to school. It could be anywhere. It could be Stony Brook. Once you go there, you get your year under your belt, or you get your 2, and then they move on, and they can move up to some of these, the Atlantic 10 and these other conferences, or to another school. It's about the best fit. So I'm still a consultant. I'm around some people that run camps and things, and I stay in touch with coaches. I'm always willing, if there's anybody that I can reach out to, for little nephew, big nephew, your bruh, I'd be willing to do that. We want to get them in schools the right fit and teach them and just let them know. It's like a farm system now. You got to think like that. Even as a 17, 18-year-old kid, you got to start thinking like, ooh, I know I'm good enough to play here. But it ain't going to work right now. Maybe I need to go right here and just get me something under my belt. And I tell you what's going to come back, believe it or not, is the rebirth of what helped me before I went to Liberty University, is the junior colleges. Believe it or not, it's going to be a big eruption. You're going to see some really good coaches coaching at that level again, because it's going to be more so like when I was coming up. If you came out of JUCO, a lot of the Division I coaches was plucking from there. Now it's more private school and prep and everything. It's all over the place. But we'll talk more about that, because it's amazing. When you was coming up in Dayton back in the day, if you was all city, all area, all state or something like that, you had your spot somewhere.
Yep.
Now they're getting left behind. And a kid could have played at Wilmington College, Division III. As long as he went to Wilmington and did well, now he's got more accolades on his resume than a kid who came out of high school at a higher rank than he has. And if you're not getting the 5 stars, which, to be honest with you, I'm gonna tell you the truth, your uncle don't believe in all the stars. I don't believe in 1, 2, 3. I think if you're talented, you can play. If you haven't reached your talented, can I see that I can develop you? It's something inside of you that has to make you a good player and want to be a good player. You have a lot of kids out here today that are young players. The ones that are going to stand out are the ones that's watching film, the ones that are studying their opponents, watching their deficiencies, thinking basketball 24/7. I need to be watching other players that I like and see if I can emulate some of their game and put it into my game. That's the way we got better. We knew that we had to go to Roosevelt High School to play against the Jim and the John Paxsons from Alter High School, who ended up going on to the NBA. It wasn't no AAU for me when I was coming up, So you have to put yourself in the right positions, right? Let's see here. All right, Jacob. So listen, me and you got a lot to discuss. We got a lot to talk about off camera. I'm loving the fact about you. You got the ability to get to the NBA. You got the ability to play overseas. How that outcome comes is all up to you. It's up to your thinking. It's up to where you don't let somebody tell you something that throws you off track. It's going to always be haters. Always remember that. That's the Uncle Love. Everybody, as good as you set out to be, it's just like when people do positive videos, and like, I don't come on my podcast and don't try to stir up no controversy, You don't do that. You'll look and you say, oh, man, this guy ain't got this many likes, or he don't have this. When I sit down here, I've had so many positive, big-time influential people on my podcast. But you know what it's all about for me and your uncle is love, giving guys flowers while they're here. We didn't have social media when I was growing up. Giving kids an opportunity like what your brother going through for those young kids, that if they can't find a college that they want over here, something, maybe it's an alternative we can get you hooked up over here. You know, just giving back, man. And I try to do that with the community, with the sea moss and spreading 92 minerals with my cold pressed juices, my whipped shea butters. Biggest organ on your skin is on your body is your skin. I got stuff with natural ingredients in it, no alcohol and water. Everything on the market got alcohol and water. And I'm telling you, I've been trying to give away money for years. That's what they saturate you with. And, you know, I've got a secret ingredient in it that's so natural, and it just makes your skin glow. So, man, we're going to try to do everything we can to continue to help you. I appreciate you coming out, being on the show tonight. And Flyer Faithful, y'all heard everything from the recruiting to the transfer portal to NIL on the show, the returning Flyers, including this man right here, Jacob Connor. Y'all follow him. Jacob, where can they follow you at on Instagram, and where can they follow you at on Facebook and any other media platform?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Jacob_RC24. Facebook, you can get me at Jacob Connor. And that's all I'm active on. So,
all right. Sound like anything else you want to get out? Any shout outs, anything?
No, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate you, taking the time to talk to me. And yeah, shout out my family for, doing everything they can for me. And, my brother's he's going on a visit here right now. So hopefully all goes well for him. And, appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Shout out for bro. Good luck on that visit. Please let me know how it works out. And we'll be in touch. I'll call you soon because I'm going to send you some business information for you to look at. And we'll discuss a little bit more about what we're going to be doing together, man. I appreciate you. Much love and shout out to the Dayton Flyer faithful out there. Y'all heard it from the 6'10" forward tonight. Jacob Connor of the UD Flyers. Y'all make sure y'all follow him on all social media platforms on Instagram and Facebook, and look for him to return. I'm telling y'all hearing it right now on Straight from the Source. I'm making a prediction. Wait till you see. The best is yet to come for Jacob Connor at UD under Coach Anthony Green. All right, Jacob. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Be blessed.
You too.
Mm-hmm.